All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the NBA show. It is Tuesday, August 8th here, last day in Chicago for me. Yeah, man, we got nothing planned, and I think it's a solo show. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's really going on for the day, but let me, I guess, send this to the other people. So, yeah. Basketball off season. The good news is we're only about 2 months now away from it. There is quite literally no news from yesterday. So I think we're gonna do team deep dives because I mean I've never viewed this as really like a news show anyways, but there is no news. I mean, there's just simply no news going on right now. Like Blake Griffin might want to re-sign with the Celtics, he might not. He might want to, he might not. Who knows? Riveting stuff, nonetheless. But yeah, I think Cyro and I are doing our first ever live show on Thursday. So there's that. That'll be fun. It's like suffocating. There's a song stuck in my head and I can't think of anything about it. All right. If anybody wants a team in specific, let me know. But let's check the news world. Anthony Davis is a player option and extension with the Lakers. Wow. Pretty surprising. The Lakers still interested in signing Christian Wood. We talked about that yesterday. Looks like they graded Heat Lakers not considered sign and trade destinations for Christian Wood, but the Lakers are still interested in Christian Wood. Richard Sherman will join Undisputed for 50 to 100 shows per year. Ooh, Malik Willis, number 2 on the Tennessee Titans depth chart. Teddy Bridgewater to sign with the Lions. Interesting. What's up, Jalen Johnson? How are you doing? We don't really have anything today. Not gonna lie. Oh, I wanted to see this article. They're handing out grades for the offseason. We can talk about it. Of course, it's a podcast. I'll try theathletic.com. All right, what is this? Sport, basketball. I hate just like pulling up an article and just reading it. So I don't want to do that. But I would love something to be on the screen. Where the fuck are the power rankings? Did they not do power rankings in the middle of the summer? What do people think about tiers? I'm not a big tiers fan. They kind of stress me out almost. Team USA is going on right now. I don't know, man. That doesn't interest me this year. I don't know what it is. Team USA, what is it? The FIBA World Cup doesn't really interest me quite yet. I'm assuming that'll change once we get into the meat and potatoes. When is that? About a month away. So Kate Cunningham has apparently been tearing it up. So has Anthony Edwards. I'm still scrolling for a goddamn power ranking article, which is crazy. Man, we used to do power rankings on this show all the time. All the time. Dylan Brooks, for our Rocket fans, can watch Dylan Brooks play basketball. You can tell what the job of the week was at the Athletic basketball. Here are their articles. 3 Bucks lineups I'd like to see on the floor next season. Here are the Pistons' most interesting lineup combinations. 3 Kristaps Porzingis lineups the Celtics can use. 4 quirky Knicks lineups I'd like to see. They're all the same, just different teams. What's up, Chris? I don't have an opinion on tiers yet, and yeah, FIBA starts late August, so 3 weeks. Like, I just saw a tier list. I can pull it up. People love tiers, though, man. It kind of stresses me out. It really just stresses me out. Ooh, Walker Kessler appears to have gained some muscle mass. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. I keep forgetting about Brandon Miller just existing on that Hornets team. All right. God, this website is massive. Who was the MVP most? Oh, this will be fun. We'll do this first. Which team are you excited to see Jackson basketball related? I don't really understand the phrasing of that question. But what team I'll take it as this. What team am I excited to see next season? Well, I think we're all excited to see the Houston Rockets play basketball. One team I'm really excited about is Memphis Grizzlies, the Lakers. I mean, these are pretty broad. I guess the Grizzlies isn't very broad, but there's one team I'll be doing a pretty good watching on. I would say Orlando's a team I'm really trying to watch a lot next season because they're not blacked out where I am. And the Pacers, the Pistons, mainly young teams. And then, my Bulls, the Lakers. I love watching the Warriors play. What's up, Derpy? The Cavs could be very interesting. Cavs aren't my first watch usually. Just more, I don't know. It's not. I wonder where they finished in total offense last season, but like Cleveland's a really good team, and they're going to be an interesting squad this upcoming season. And it's interesting because like last year, so Cleveland won 51 games this past season. I'll pull this up on the screen. I'll pull up D-Mitch. I don't think Mitchell to Mitchell can be your best player in any situation, which is totally fine. I don't necessarily mean that as a dig at D-Mitch. D-Mitch is a walking bucket. I just personally, if he's my number one, I'm probably not going to win anything, which, like I said, I really don't mean that to be shitty. Preseason starts in 2 days. Hell yeah. They do desperately need a backup point guard. But yeah, so here's what I'm saying, man. We go back a couple of years ago and Cleveland wins 22 basketball games and things are, not looking bad. Honestly, things are not looking bad, even though they just came off of back-to-back 19-win seasons. This is the post-LeBron era. You lost in the NBA Finals in 17-18. You win 19 games, 2 straight seasons, 22 the year after that. So now you have the 3rd pick in the draft. You select Evan Mobley. What occurs? Cleveland out of nowhere, it felt like, wins 44 games and just barely misses. Actually, I think they made the play-in 2 years ago. So you lose in the play-in. Well, this past season, the Cleveland Cavaliers had the best defense in the NBA. The best defense rating, I should say. I wouldn't necessarily say the Cleveland Cavaliers to me were the best defense last year. They were one of the best. I don't think I'd give them that. But defensive rating-wise, they were number one. The thing is, offensive rating-wise, they were top 10 still. So they were putting up points. They were getting stops. They won, 51 games. They were super healthy all season. This was a super, super healthy team. Donovan Mitchell didn't miss much. DG the PG didn't miss much. Mobley missed 3 games. Jared Allen played the whole season, just about. LeVert played the whole season. Okoro played the whole season. Osman played the whole season. I guess they did deal with some injuries, like Ricky Rubio didn't come back till halfway through the season. But, to me, these are perfect stepping stones. I wouldn't even know. sometimes I just am glad I'm not the Cleveland Cavaliers GM right now, because I'm not quite sure what I would do. And you really need what Jalen's saying here. And they need a backup point guard really badly. Can Mobley take the offensive jump? I think for sure. I think Evan Mobley for sure can take the offensive jump. It's tough because when we go to what Cleveland looked like in the regular season, and then we go to how they looked in the playoffs, it's just two different things. They scored over 100 points one time in the playoffs. One time. That's not going to work, man. You could have the best defense of all time, but in today's era, you need to score more than 100 points. So I guess they scored over 100. Yeah, just literally one fucking time, which is not good. And we take a look at their depth chart. I've got Max Strus coming on over, which was a good pickup. I've got Georges Niang coming over, Damian Jones coming over. So I got a lot of new veterans, even though none of those guys are old. We have new guys who are around our new core's age. Complementary veterans to our young guys. Well, unfortunately for the Cavaliers, Isaac Okoro looks like it might be done. This is definitely the last year that the Cavaliers can move forward with Isaac Okoro. If he's even the starter, I would imagine he's not going to be the starter. But this is the former 5th pick in the 2020 draft. Huge year for him. It would be awesome because you do have Amani Bates looks like he's going to be a really good basketball player. I would say Amani will have a role by the end of the regular season. I could be wrong. However, Cleveland doesn't necessarily seem like they do the best at their depth at staying healthy. I would imagine we do see some Amani Bates this upcoming season. They also picked up Ty Jerome. I guess Ty Jerome is probably their penciled-in backup point guard, which I would not feel good about. But there's a lot of just solid depth players that I don't think really move the needle. Like Max Strus isn't really a needle mover to me. Isaac Okoro, Niang, LeVert, Damian Jones, Dean Wade, Ty Jerome. I don't think these are needle movers to me. So if they want to move the needle, they need either DG, the PG, to establish himself as a just literal star, which, he's getting there. Him and Mobley are getting to star level. DG last season, 22-8. If he just got those numbers up to even what he averaged last season, he's basically a star. But if you were to get up to 24-9, that's one of the best point guards in the league. Although he's still one of the best point guards in the league. It's all going to start within, it seems like. We got Derpy saying Michael Carter-Williams, George Hill, Goran Dragic, and Kendrick Nunn. Yeah, I don't hate the idea of George Hill and Goran Dragic. I don't really hate that, but this roster is pretty deep with depth. Don't forget about Isaiah Mobley. But there's a lot of players on this roster. I can't count them all right here. Looks like they have some room, and if they need room, it's going to start within, man. Mitchell is going to do his thing. Allen's going to do his thing defensively. Strus will make some threes. He's going to miss some threes. DG and Evan Mobley this year, if the Cavs want to take that jump, I think they need to establish themselves as the best player on the team, because I don't think it can be Donovan Mitchell, which is perfectly fine. Only scorers really worry me in this league. Pure scorers. The league has really trended away from that. Now you want 6'9" players who can shoot 40% from 3 and play 1 through 3 and guard 1 through 3 like Cade Cunningham. So Projection on the Cleveland Cavaliers, comment down below. I'll go with, I think they're probably going to be somewhere exactly where they were last year, somewhere around 50 wins, because that defense is still going to be super good. They didn't take too many threes. It's weird how they were not a good rebounding team last year, which is weird considering their rebounding. All right, here we go. Points. They were the 5th worst offense as far as total points going. So they were an efficient offense. They didn't take many threes at all. They made 48.8% as a team. That's a lot. That's very efficient. So they were very efficient offensively, but they were not putting up points. So that's, we see the additions of Max Strus coming in, Georges Niang. Watch out for the other Mobley. Isaiah Mobley's a pretty nice basketball player. If they're going for buckets, Kendrick Nunn will get you buckets off that bench as well. We don't have to team previews just now. We don't have to team previews just now. I'm not sure what that means. Yeah. Amin Thompson is going to be, all right, Jalen saying 48 wins for them, 4th or 5th seed. Amin Thompson's going to have a great season. Man, if he just hadn't gotten injured, the hype would be even higher than it already is. Because it's high. It's high for a reason. All right, who do we want to talk about next? Cavs missed a wing, and they got Strus. What's up, Aaron? What's up, Aaron? Let's talk about my Chicago Bulls. I'll say this about my Chicago Bulls. People hate where we are right now. People hate it. Where's this team headed? I hear you. Hold on. I hear you. Hold on. I hear you. But at the end of the day, we can sit here and say, oh, well, you know what? The Chicago Bulls, when Lonzo Ball was healthy 2 years ago, we were the number 1 seed in the first month of the season. That's true. It's very true. The Chicago Bulls defensively are a really good basketball team. We had the 5th best defense last season as far as defensive rating goes. The Chicago Bulls in the second half of the season, I wish I had the statistic right here. They were for a long time one of the best defensive teams post All-Star break. And when we take a look at this roster, it's a lot of continuity. Your starting roster is very similar to what it was last year. Now, you didn't just stand pat, though. You did improve and you did make some moves. Javon Carter, I would not be surprised if Javon Carter was Tyus Jones. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Bucks fans are not thrilled with losing Javon Carter last season. 8 points, 2.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists. We've seen him. Let me pull up his start splits. When he was starting, man, he was doing well. All right, 44% from the field, 43% from downtown, about 10-ish points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. Javon Carter, really good defender. 27 years old. He came out of West Virginia, super old, or not young at all. You also picked up Torrey Craig, which I didn't even remember that happening. I was not. I'm a Bulls fan. I don't remember the Bulls picking up Torrey Craig. I guess I missed that, but hell yeah, I'll take that. We have a really interesting point guard by committee role here between something of either Javon Carter, Ayo Dosunmu, Kobe White, Alex Caruso, depending. Dalen Terry might have a bigger role, or I hope he has a bigger role this upcoming season. That's why you drafted him in the first round 1 year ago. But he's pretty lanky, 6'7", 200. I think my point was with the Chicago Bulls, I really think that Patrick Williams could be this could be the year. And I know we've been talking about this pretty much ever since he got into the league, where it's like, Patrick Williams, I really like what he has. He's 6'7", 215. He's got a long wingspan, but he can sharpshoot and he can guard quite literally anybody on the floor. Solid rookie season, got injured in his sophomore campaign. This past year, he played every single game for the Chicago Bulls, 46.4 from the field, 41.5 from downtown. He did take a lot more threes this season. Shooting the ball has been an issue for Patrick Williams as far as shot attempts going. We always, Bears fans, I keep saying that, Bulls fans always want Patrick Williams to take more shots because he doesn't take many shots. Prior to the end of this season, but still for the most part this past year, didn't take too many shots. We know what he can do defensively. I believe his second half stats were a lot better. Efficiency-wise, they were better. Nothing crazy though, man. I mean, we saw flashes of it, but I'm telling you, Patrick Williams, I think this could be the year here. If this isn't the year for Patrick Williams, I would not say the Bulls need to move on. Sometimes draft picks don't work out. Sometimes the number 4 selection just doesn't work out, and it sucks. But Patrick Williams will still be a really solid two-way player because he's not a bum on offense. You're not going to leave Patrick Williams wide open. You might in Game 7 of the NBA Finals leave Patrick Williams wide open if, depending on what's going on. But, you're not going to leave Patrick Williams wide open, and he's going to clamp you on the defensive side of things. The Bulls still have DeMar and LaVine. I would strongly urge that the Chicago Bulls do not extend DeMar DeRozan. I have a strong feeling that they will extend DeMar DeRozan. But we did bring back Nikola Vucevic, which I loved. We did bring back Andre Drummond. Drummond scared us for a day or a couple hours when it looked like he was headed to Dallas. But this is actually a really, really young team outside of maybe the starters, right? Caruso, LaVine, DeRozan, Vucevic aren't young players, but, Patrick Williams is young. Javon, I guess, isn't necessarily young. Kobe White's young. Dalen Terry's young. I'd assume is young. Terry Taylor's young. We have a lot of young guys back there on the depth chart. That bench kind of worries me. The current bench on ESPN is Javon Carter, Kobe White, Dalen Terry, Torrey Craig, Andre Drummond. Not a huge fan of that, but you would hope and assume LaVine and DeRozan or one of them would be out there with them most of the time. For the Bulls, we know who LaVine and DeRozan are as players. Man, I think for the Bulls, if they need to see if Patrick Williams can take that huge jump into becoming a star player. Yeah. And, I mean, I don't know what Kawhi did immediately, but I'm pretty sure Kawhi Leonard did not get going until this time for Patrick Williams. Yeah, pretty much very similar trajectories, very similar shooting splits, except Kawhi was a little bit more efficient. Kawhi, after his third year, 12.8 points per game, and then in his fourth year, he jumps up to 16.5. And then the year after that, he becomes an all-star, the Kawhi Leonard that we all know and love. So the Chicago Bulls season could go a bunch of different ways, but I'm not very hopeful for it. We won 40 games last year. You want to win a lot more than 40 games, even with this roster. I mean, we took Milwaukee to 6 with this roster essentially a couple of years ago with no Lonzo. I want to be above 500. I think that's my goal, and it's shitty because if Patrick Williams doesn't break out, the Bulls are just in a really weird situation, man, and they're probably going to extend DeMar DeRozan, like I said. So it's just a weird spot. Just weird. The Magic are going to be a great team to watch. I can't wait to see Jalen and Amon work together on the floor. Yeah, might be a long season. Jury's still out. Let's talk Magic. I wish the Orlando Magic were a lot closer to my home because I would love to go to every Magic game that I could. I would love to become just like a huge Magic supporter. It's like the dream. I guess we'll do this picture, the Wagner Bros. Oh my goodness, I don't have a printer, so fuck off. But you guys can't even see this. The Orlando Magic. So I had a take about the Orlando Magic last season, and Cyro never gave me flowers for it. So I want to say this for my Magic fans. Hopefully this clip gets out to you guys. The Orlando Magic last season started a lot worse than I was anticipating and a lot of people were thinking. You know, last year on this show, we were calling the Orlando Magic a possible play-in team along with the Detroit Pistons. Neither of those panned out. I don't know exactly where Orlando finished on that standings list, but there was a time in, I think, around the trade deadline where the Orlando Magic were not a good basketball team record-wise, and I made a super hot take. One of my hot takes was that the Magic would still make the play-in tournament. Didn't happen because that was outrageous and far-fetched, but they won 34 basketball games, and they were pretty sleepy. So pretty sleepy 34-win team. You know, you have a really enticing roster. Markelle Fultz. There's a lot of talent on this roster. Here's just their roster. Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, who had, you know, I've only been covering basketball for three full seasons. I can't even remember who won Rookie of the Year off the top of my head right now, but I can't remember ever a Rookie of the Year being that quiet. Like that quiet. It kind of reminds me of like Peyton Hillis's year in like 2012 or whenever that was, that nobody really talked about except for like hardcore football fans. Hardcore basketball fans know how good Paolo Banchero is. But maybe it's the Orlando Magic small market. I'm not really sure what it is because they weren't boring to watch last season. But Paolo Banchero, no one really cared. Let me fix that phrasing. It's not that no one cared. It's just I feel like nobody really batted an eye, which was weird because he had a really, really good season. So their future is really good. Their future is really good, regardless. Franz Wagner, just another one of those guys who's just extremely underrated last season, 18.6 points. You know, Franz could be a guy who this upcoming season just turns into like kind of like anywhere between a 20 to 25 point per game score, somewhere where I would have him actually hover in somewhere between 20 and 25. 25 being like, holy fuck, that's Franz Wagner. That's Franz fucking Wagner. That would be pretty crazy. But, you know, just another one of these guys on the Magic, one of their young, talented players that nobody's really talking about. My take on Wendell is a little weird. Magic fans love Wendell Carter Jr. I think he's fine. What do you average? 15.2, 8.7 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 52.5 from the field. Career high, 35 points. Oh, no, not a career high, but very good. Took 4 threes a game at 35.6 clip. Wendell Carter Jr. to me is a perfectly fine center. What's crazy is, does anyone want to take a guess at Wendell Carter's age? It's kind of fucked, actually. I was not anticipating that at all. I cannot believe that is his age. Oh, my God. I'm going to move on while you guys comment what you think his age is. No cheating. You have Cole Anthony, new addition Anthony Black and Jack Howard, 2 great draft picks again. You bring in Joe Ingles, which is kind of showing me that this team wants to let's start winning basketball games. Goga, Mo Wagner, and don't forget about Jalen Suggs, who I'm still pretty hopeful of. The Jonathan Isaac situation does appear to be over, unfortunately. Wendell Carter Jr. is 24. I'm 24, which is crazy. I mean, I remember watching Wendell Carter get drafted like it was yesterday. Anyways, I would love to go to a Magic game. Orlando is so far away. I think it's like a 3.5-hour drive, or it's at least a 3-hour drive. December, they were playing 500 ball. Yeah, and then Anthony Black, who is just such an enticing point guard. I mean, I don't even think ESPN listed him as a guard. I think they had Cole Anthony. Yeah, they have Anthony Black coming in here at backup shooting guard. Not the case for me. Not necessarily sure Anthony Black taking a bunch of threes, but to me, I would flip it. I would have Cole Anthony as like the combo guard because I think that fits better. I think Cole Anthony might be. I'm not going to say Cole Anthony reminds me of Kevin Porter Jr., but he reminds me of Kevin Porter Jr. in the sense of I think these are just bench players. I think they're better suited. They're starter capable, injuries starting capable. But I don't really want Cole Anthony to be my long-term starting whatever. I don't really want Kevin Porter Jr. necessarily to be my starting whatever. No jab at them. I just think they're perfect. They're so like Kevin in specific is such a good scorer. 23. Why would I guess 25? Yeah. I guess you guys were on with me. I was kind of thinking like 26, 27, 28 even. I was even thinking Wendell could have been 28. But this Magic team will be a lot closer than they were last season. I mean, a lot closer. On paper, they weren't close necessarily. With the eye test, this was a lot closer team than, their 34 win total shows. Defense is going to be big for them. They still have Gary Ayers. They still have Markelle Fultz. They still have some pieces who are going to help, I think, with winning culture. I mean, they kind of established that last season. Offensively, they were not good at scoring the basketball last year. So their new additions will help along with just emerging young talent. Defensively, around middle of the pack, which is super solid for a 34 and 48 team to be defensively rated literally 16th. I think that's extremely solid. They were very turnover prone. They had an assist issue, which is Anthony Black's going to really help out. They weren't taking threes. They weren't making threes. They weren't doing much from downtown. So when we take a look at this roster, well, I've got Joe Ingles now. I've got Chet Howard. I mean, Franz can shoot. What did Paolo shoot from downtown in his rookie season? 29.8. I mean, that'll be improved, but he won't be locked, or he won't be a phenomenal shooter. Gary Harris is a really solid 3-point shooter. He's just probably not going to take many attempts at all. Did he have 25 in his final game of the season? Good for you, Gary. Good for you, Gary. Wendell was knocking him down at a career high last season. I'd give Anthony Black. I mean, they probably. I wonder what they want to do with Anthony Black as far as bringing him in. I like Orlando, but I'm not excited by them yet. I think this might be the year Paolo establishes himself as like the franchise guy. I think it's not clearly established yet. Even though it appears, all signs point to Paolo. 27 and 4 in his rookie season. Like all signs are pointed to him, but I will say Wagner is still there. I don't think it'll be Vog, but it is still there. Anthony Black could be really special. I really, really liked Anthony Black. I think Orlando was a solid fit. Washington would have been a solid fit. I like Anthony Black a lot. Cole Anthony, yeah, we got Jalen saying here, Anthony's a sixth man. Do they stick with Fultz or do they go with Black and then they're Cole Anthony and Suggs? This would be my last year with probably Markelle Fultz. Not as far as like, starting or whatever, but like this is probably the last year I'd give him the 100% starting role because last year was the first year before his 2 injured years, the last 2 years at Orlando, where he played like a combined 26 games, 25 games. Played 60 last year, but then in his first year in Orlando, he played 72, started in 60 of them. And then, that's when the Markelle comeback began. And then unfortunately the injuries, and then it kind of picked back up last year. But Markelle Fultz is a really good basketball player, and he's been improving his 3-point shot, 31% last year. I mean, he's super efficient, man. 51.4% from the field last year for Orlando. That's insane. I mean, that's really impressive. 14 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal and a half. I have no reason to not have him be my starting point guard this upcoming season. No matter how good Anthony Black looks in training camp, no matter, Cole Anthony could get hot in preseason. Jalen Suggs could get hot. It's Markelle Fultz to me. They'll know by the end of the year if Markelle Fultz starting guard. The good news about Fultz is he can play off ball. You would want to see an improved three-point shot if you're going to move Anthony Black into the starting lineup. But the point, Anthony Black is such a young player. He's literally 19 years old that I'm not. You guys know my takes on these 19-year-old players. It's hard for me to even look into a 19-year-old's rookie season that much. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt because they're 19 years old. So these 19-year-old kids coming out, it is their rookie season, but I'm keeping it pretty loose. Jet Howard's going to really help with their shooting off the bench. And you're going to be able to plug and play him. Jet Howard's going to have a nice role with the Orlando Magic next season as long as he's making the shots, which he should be. And yeah, the Joe Ingles addition, pretty quiet move. Pretty quiet move, but they had a great draft, and they already had a pretty enticing roster. I'm not going to say they're going to be an above 500 team this upcoming season. Wouldn't shock me. I would probably say they'll go around 35 to 4. I mean, this is super vague, but I think they'll win 35 to 45 games. If I had to give them an actual win total, I'll go with 40. I'll go with 40 wins. 40 and 42 season for the Orlando Magic, unless one of these guys really establishes himself as a star. I would get Fultz this year to see if he has a starting point, because Markelle Fultz is still 25. So you want to go forward with Fultz. And I'm not off the Suggs train, the Suggs ship. I mean, these guys were he was taken at 5 for a very specific reason. Unfortunately, injuries ruined him. I mean, he played 53 games last year. He only played 48 in his rookie year. Kind of lost the starting job last season. Was super inefficient in his rookie year. However, last year a little bit better. Not good. 42%, 32.7 from downtown. But I love his defense. I love his leadership. I love his off-ball ability. They have him listed at shooting guard now, which is interesting. So I guess Magic want him as on this, he's the third string shooting guard. But, we'll see what that Magic rotation looks like when we get closer to the season. All right, guys. Viewers seem to be fizzling out. Holy shit, that was a good stretch. Fuck. Oh, man, you ever stretch and it's just like, oh, man, everything in life just changed. I won't be here tomorrow. I think my flight gets in the way here. I go back to Florida tomorrow, and then I'm driving to Miami on Thursday. And the plan is to meet up with Cyro on Thursday night and do the show Friday live. And I might have to miss Thursday too, depending on if I'm golfing in Miami on Thursday. TBD for Thursday. I won't see you guys tomorrow. I think Cyro's driving to Florida tonight, so there probably will be no show tomorrow, actually. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, Cyro and I live show Friday. Be there or you're square. Thanks for watching, Jalen, Aaron, Chris. Appreciate you guys keeping the chat going on this solo show. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in a couple of days. Thank you, Jalen. We'll see you there. Live on YouTube.